Is history just a random series of events? Or is it something more? If you look closely at the river of time, you'll see dams, levees, and canals. These structures weren't accidental. They were built by the architects of tomorrow visionaries who didn't just guess the future, they engineered it. From 18th century economists to 20th century cyberneticists, certain predictions acted like self-fulfilling prophecies. They planted flags in the midst of the unknown, and humanity marched toward them. The world we live in today is the world they dreamt. We live inside their hallucinations. This is the story of those audacious forecasts, an autopsy of the present, tracing the nerves back to the minds that first imagined them. Our journey begins not with a machine, but with a terrifying equation. In 1798, Reverend Thomas Robert Malthus published an essay predicting inevitable misery. He argued that human population grows geometrically, while food production only grows arithmetically. Eventually, the sheer number of hungry mouths would devour civilization. This dark prophecy haunted the world for 2 centuries. But instead of accepting doom, humanity saw a challenge. Malthus's prediction terrified scientists into action because he foresaw starvation. The 20th century gave us the Green Revolution. Norman Boyle, driven by the fear of global famine, developed high-yield, disease-resistant wheat. We figured out how to synthesize nitrogen fertilizer from the air, cheating the arithmetic limits. Malthus described. Today, we have a world of 8 billion people. Not because Malthus was wrong, but because his predictions scared us into engineering industrial agriculture. Every overflowing supermarket aisle is a direct rebuttal to his ghost. Fast forward to 1926. The Roaring Twenties. In an interview, Nikola Tesla, the genius of electricity, looked into the static and basically saw the iPhone. He said, "When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole Earth will be converted into a huge brain. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly. Not only this, but through television and telephony we shall see and hear one another as perfectly as though we were face to face. And the instruments will be amazingly simple. A man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket." He didn't just predict the tech, he predicted the behavior. The whole Earth converted into a huge brain is a perfect description of the internet and cloud computing. Generations of engineers read Tesla's works. His vision became their blueprint. When Martin Cooper made the first handheld mobile phone call in 1973, he was chasing that vest pocket dream. When you FaceTime a relative across the globe, you're performing the exact ritual Tesla visualized a century ago. We built 5G and fiber optics to fulfill his promise of a huge brain. Now let's jump to 1965. Quiet chemist named Gordon Moore noticed a trend. He predicted that the number of transistors on a microchip would double about every 2 years, while the cost would have... We call this Moore's Law. But here's the secret. Moore's Law was never a law of physics. It was a choice. For 50 years, the entire semiconductor industry, Intel, AMD, NVIDIA used Moore's Law as a metronome. If their engineers were falling behind the prediction, they worked overtime. It became a roadmap for progress. This relentless doubling gave us the modern world. Its smartphone is millions of times more powerful than the computer that guided Apollo 11. It's the engine behind the AI boom of the 2020s. Moore drew a line on a graph, and humanity spent trillions of dollars to make sure we stayed on that line. In the ashes of World War II, a mathematician named Norbert Wiener coined a new term, cybernetics. He studied how systems, from anti-aircraft guns to our own nervous systems, use information to control themselves. Wiener predicted a world where machines would perform mental labor, not just physical labor. He foresaw communication and control systems that would eventually rival human intelligence. His theories directly influenced J.C. Arlick, who conceptualized the intergalactic computer network, the direct ancestor of the internet. This cybernetic vision is now the operating system of our reality. Algorithms that curate your social media feed, thermostats that learn your preferences, stock markets run by trading bots. These are all cybernetic systems. They take in data, process it, and adjust their behavior. We're no longer just using tools. We are living inside a responsive, automated nervous system that spans the globe. Sometimes, the future is first revealed in entertainment. In 1984, William Gibson published the novel Neuromancer. He coined the term cyberspace, describing it as a consensual hallucination experienced daily by billions. At the time, the internet was a clunky, text-based tool for academics. Gibson visualized an immersive digital world where data had a physical form and hackers floated through neon grids. The architects of the World Wide Web and early virtual reality were huge fans of cyberpunk. They didn't just write code, they tried to recreate the cool factor of Gibson's world. Today, as companies pour billions into the metaverse and spatial computing, they are literally trying to construct that consensual hallucination. The entire aesthetic of the modern web-blowing screens, endless scrolling, avatar identities, was drafted in a sci-fi novel before it was ever coded in Silicon Valley. So we often ask, what will the future look like? But history shows us that's the wrong question. The real question is, what are we imagining today? The predictions of Malthus, Tesla, Moore, and Gibson prove that the future isn't a destination we arrive at. It's a structure we build based on the blueprints of the past. We are living in the imagination of the 20th century. Now, as we stand on the edge of general AI and Mars colonization, we must realize we are the new architects. The predictions we make today about climate change, about digital ethics, about human longevity aren't just guesses. They are the instructions for the next generation. The future is listening. What will we tell it? Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through time fascinating, be sure to like and subscribe for more stories about the ideas that shape our world.